Hello YouTube, Chris the Frugal Audiophile with you again here today. Got another episode of Hindsight Reflections. This is a series that I started several months ago, and today we're going to have episode 2. So today we're going to talk about the audio aha moment. And as per usual with these videos, I am drinking some coffee. This is actually Starbucks iced latte. It's like an espresso version of it. It's really good. I use this for times when I'm traveling or I have to be somewhere early. Just load up some iced coffee into a to-go cup and head out, and it's pretty good. It's not like the best coffee I've ever had, but it gets the job done. And this is my Gettysburg mug. I spent some time in Pennsylvania this summer. We got to go see the Gettysburg battlefield as well as the whole town and the museum. Picked this up at the museum. So a really cool cup. I really like this cup. So that's the cup I'm using and the coffee that I'm drinking. So today we're going to talk about the audio aha moment. And before we do that, I want to talk about what is good audio to most people. When you ask someone what constitutes a good sounding audio system, good speakers, a good song, what would they say? You know, you probably heard some of your more novice friends and family comment on your system saying, you know, this sounds really good. And you're like, oh, really? Why? And they can't really articulate why they think it sounds good. They just say, oh, I don't know. And then we're going to get into some of those things that it might be. But typically, it's not really what is meant by good audio or what we as more audiophile types think of when we think of good audio. So some of the things they might say, for example, is, oh, it gets really loud, so it must be good audio. Or it sounds like I'm listening to a live performance, which is, you know, getting a little bit closer. Maybe they'll say it sounds like I'm listening to a concert. It's because maybe you've got some huge amps and some very sensitive speakers, like some clips, and you can just get it to, you know, concert levels and say, yeah, it sounds like I'm listening to a good concert. It sounds like I'm listening to a real concert. So that constitutes good audio. Maybe they will say you have really good bass. This speaker system, this song, whatever, it has really good bass. So it must be a good audio system. Others, they might say, oh, it sounds like this movie is live action. It sounds lifelike. And still some might say, oh, you know, actually the dialogue, the vocals, they're very clear. And some of these are not necessarily bad things, nor are they wrong, but it's not quite the aha moment of what is really actually a good sounding system and good audio. And so we're going to talk about that today. So what is this aha moment? And for me, it is the first time you sit down in the middle of two great speakers hooked up to a great system. And that doesn't have to be an expensive system. You know, remember we talk about on my channel good values. Now this doesn't mean that it's going to be like the most expensive thing ever, but it is a good system that has been properly set up. And I think that's key right there. And that's something we're going to talk about in a little bit here, but a good system that's been properly set up. So I remember the first time I heard this, and I actually heard a good sounding system. And so I went over to a buddy's house. He had just moved to the area, and he and I both kind of struck a friendship up because we liked home theater and audio. You know, and I had my nice little, you know, inexpensive audio system. I think at that time I had some small Polk speakers and, you know, a Denon AVR and an RCA sub. So nothing that spectacular, but I thought it was really awesome at the time. And so he's like, no, you got to come here, my system. And so I went over to his apartment at the time, actually, and he sat me down in the sweet spot, and he put on some good recordings, some high quality recordings that were not overly compressed. And, you know, he played things like the Civil Wars and Nora Jones, Amber Rhubarb, some of those, you know, just classic audiophile tracks that we think of. And I was blown away. And he said, what are you hearing? And I said, it sounds like I am either at the concert or at a in the studio or at a live show of these groups. And he's like, yes, that is what good audio is supposed to sound like. And I could hear vocals coming from the middle, and then I could hear just instruments and accompaniment, spread all throughout the sound field. And I didn't really know what that meant at that time. I later went on to understand that what I was hearing was good imaging and a good soundstage, a large soundstage to be more precise. And I didn't know what really that was at that time. I had some of those misconceptions that I spoke about in the beginning of my video that, oh, my system gets loud, or I can feel the thump and bass in my chest. And I came to understand that that's not really what constitutes good audio. Any given speaker can get loud. Any given speaker can be clear, but it doesn't mean that it actually is accurately reproducing the recording to which you are listening. And so for me, finally understanding soundstage and imaging was that aha moment in audio for myself. And I think that is what many of us who are in this community have come to understand, and why we just really enjoy this hobby, and we are big advocates of getting a good system set up correctly. So I want to talk about how this is accomplished, how quality imaging and wide soundstage are accomplished. And I think the first way is through accurate frequency response. I know that there's no such thing as a perfect speaker that reproduces everything accurately, but to get it as good as you can, that's really going to help separate out the vocals, the instruments, the sounds, the audio tracks and stems, as they are called, of a movie, where you can really hear the dialogue and the sound effects and just wash its sound all over you. Well, you've got to have good, not just that, but actually accurate frequency response in order to do that. And so that means you need speakers that can do that. You need speakers that have little distortion, speakers that have little to no overhang. An overhang is when a driver moves farther than it is asked to move. When it is said to go like that and it goes more like that. That's a pretty drastic example, but you get what I'm saying. It's the overhang. I think many of us understand what that is, but it's something that I've only learned about in recent years, of how when a driver is asked to go an X amount of distance and it actually goes a little bit over that, it goes a Y amount of distance and it exceeds that requested frequency, you're going to have overhang, it's going to create distortion, and it's not going to sound as accurate, and your soundstage, your imaging is going to start to fall apart. Also, what you need in order to create good frequency response is quality drivers and well implemented quality crossovers. You need those two things to be part of that speaker design, and that's going to help with this frequency response. So frequency response is one thing that is key. Another way in which this is accomplished is with even time delays. So there is a delay of sound getting to your ears, and our ears, they can hear that and they can pick up on it and say, oh, that sound is X amount of distance away, or it's here, or it's here, or it's here. And so you need to have the accurate time delays going from your speakers to your ears. One of the best ways to accomplish this is through coaxial drivers. They help a lot, but also just getting your speakers placed correctly, sitting equal distance from your front, your left, and your right, especially when you're talking about music, sitting right in between those two speakers, and then the sound is going to be coming from both sides to your ears at the same exact time. It's going to help really improve that, especially imaging, but even soundstage. But I think this is really key for imaging. So you need to make sure that your speakers are placed properly, which leads me to my next way in which this is accomplished, and that is through a properly set up and treated room. For so many years, I just kind of threw speakers around in my room. I put the center speaker in the center, and I put the two other speakers on the sides, and the surround speakers were somewhere in the back. They may have been this is more like the front for you, but you get what I'm saying. They might have been off to the sides of my couch like this, and they're they're probably facing out. So I was actually almost sitting behind them just because of the kind of room that I had. I really didn't know what I was doing for many years, unfortunately, but I've been learning a lot. And so, you have to set up your speakers properly, and a lot of people, they just throw their speakers around the room and they decorate the way they want it to look. They press play, and they're not really impressed or overwhelmed by what they're like. Why did I spend, hundreds and thousands of dollars on this equipment and it just sounds okay? Well, the room's not set up properly. So you need to make sure that your speakers are placed properly according to Dolby spec or DTS spec, whatever sound processing you're wanting to use. Maybe if you want to use all of them, there are some tricks there as well. And also room treatments. A reflective, echoey room does audio quality no good. It is not going to help your soundstage and imaging at all. So you've got to put up room treatments. I know a lot of audio guys preach about this. It can kind of become a soapbox, but that's because it is so helpful in reproducing an accurate sound field is to have a well-treated room. You don't want a room with a lot of slap echo, or things are going to sound muddy and your soundstage, your imaging is just going to fall apart. So your room is really key to this. You need to have good electronics, good speakers, good subwoofers, and a good room, a well-treated, well-set-up room. And that's really going to help a lot to accomplish what I'm talking about here in this audio aha moment. Oh, and just one little bonus item, I'm going to add onto there good bass. Accurate, well-controlled bass that is produced by quality subwoofers. None of this little, 8-inch, $80 subwoofer. I've had many of them. They make something like bass, but it's just not going to quite do it. You need to, in most rooms, have 2 subwoofers that are set up right and are calibrated correctly. And I think that helps a lot. You're going to say, well, what does bass have to do with this? Well, I just think that good bass makes the soundstage sound larger. You hear the bass reproduced accurately. It makes you feel like you're more in this concert hall or this coffee shop, or maybe you're out on the battlefield in this epic movie scene. In good bass, it really helps that. You hear that cannon blast, and it's like, oh, that actually feels like a cannon blast coming from over there, maybe slightly here in the middle, slightly off to your left or right, and you're like, oh yeah, I can kind of pinpoint that. Well, good bass is going to help a lot with that, even though bass, I recognize, is not directional, but it is impactful on the soundstage, I do believe. So I'm going to just kind of throw that one in as a bonus. I don't think it is as critical, but it is very helpful in creating this aha moment. So do you agree with my audio aha moment, or would you have a different one that you would propose? Maybe there's something that you really saw was the aha moment in your audio experience. For me, it was this. It was really soundstage and imaging that accurately reproduced a recording to its original sound. All right, so that's what it was for me. If you have a different one, I'd love to hear it. I thank you so much for watching this video and following my channel. We are quickly approaching 500 subscribers. And when I hit 500 subscribers, I am going to run a contest. I do already have a prize picked out that I would like to offer. And so at 500 subscribers, I'm going to do a contest. I'm hoping to hit that sometime this fall. So maybe we'll do like a Christmas contest. That's kind of my plan. We will see. But please comment on this video, rate this video, like it if you like it, and subscribe to my channel so we can hit that 500 subscribers and do that giveaway. You can also check out my Patreon and buy me a cup of coffee. All that's linked down there in the description. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and remember, frugal doesn't necessarily mean cheap. Forgot to drink my coffee again.